Oh, hey Chaz, what are you doing there, buddy?
Oh, hey, man. Nothing much. Just processing some generational trauma.
Oh, shit, dude. My bad. Did I catch you at a bad time?
No. We agreed to meet at 7 for the pod. This will just take a minute.
Uh-huh. Well, you know what I always do, man? I just kind of like throw on a big smile and it'll all just resolve itself naturally.
Has that been working out for you or?
No, it is not.
Huh. Somebody should make a movie about that.
Welcome to
Cast into Hell.
a podcast where three dudes in their 30s watch one horror movie each week and pass final judgment. Will they ascend to heaven or be
Condemned to hell.
I'm your host, or at least one of them, David.
I'm Chaz.
And I'm Aaron.
And
And that took one take.
that
It
took one
definitely
take.
was one
You
take.
might think that was multiple takes, but it wasn't. Anyway, guys, how are you guys feeling today?
I'm smiling from ear to ear.
Oh God,
Yeah.
it's topical.
Doing great. Couldn't have
Love.
a bigger smile on my face.
Well, you both made the same joke. I'm into that. I will refrain from making that joke. In fact, I will do the opposite. I will frown a bit. Guys, what are we here to talk about today?
Smile.
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 The 2022 horror film directed by Parker Finn.
Yes, actually, this is Parker Finn's first movie. Well, no, not really. He directed a short film that I, full disclosure, have not seen. Did not watch for this episode, and probably never will watch if we're keeping it 100. But it's called Laura Hasn't Slept from 2020, and like I said, I haven't seen it, but just sort of perusing some summaries of it, it looks like it's roughly the first 10 minutes of the movie, the whole scene with Laura in the psychiatrist's office before the smile monster does its thing for the first time. So I kind of feel like it would be a little bit redundant. We're not doing short films. Feature length is kind of like king here, so you're never going to see that one on the list, but I definitely wanted to do Smile. Like Chaz said, it's a 2022 American supernatural psychological horror film. This movie was no slouch. This is like a $17 million budget. This is like a big blockbuster film. Looks like it brought in like 217 million on its $17 million budget. So this was a successful one in 2022. In fact, I remember this one was everywhere. A lot of guerrilla marketing for this movie.
Yeah, there are a lot of ads on TV for it as well. I remember the marketing scaring the crap out of every child I know in my life.
I remember just being at work, and every time I'd look at the TV, it was like the shot of the sister's head falling upside down right
Oh.
as the ad would end.
That's really unfortunate because that's actually one of the coolest fucking jump scares in the movie. This is a jump scare movie, by the way.
100%.
Let's
Like
get this out of the way.
110%.
So actually looking at, and again, I'm Wikipedia skimming here, but it looks like this, to my surprise, this is a Paramount Pictures release, and it looks like it was originally intended to be like an exclusive for streaming on Paramount Plus, and they nixed that at some point. And God, what a good decision that was.
Yeah, I feel like this is kind of a classic horror thing now, where it's like most horror films are made for cheap and just thrown straight to streaming. But this movie, I think they saw like the actual quality of it and were like, no, we could probably get people actually to come out and see this. And it worked. Genius move. And without getting too ahead of it, like, it's a great movie.
Yeah, this is I would call this like a horror movie. Like, it in no way is like trying to do something experimental. It's not one of those movies where you're just like, it's not a genre defying film. It is what it is, firmly straight up the middle. This is like the quintessential formulaic horror movie, and that is a compliment. It's not to its detriment.
Okay.
It knows what it's doing, and it does it well, I think.
I'm going to bring a little conflict to the pod here.
Okay.
I have mixed feelings about this film.
Well, sure.
I'll start with the good things, the things I liked about it. It is beautifully shot. The cinematography is like top notch. There's some really unnecessary, beautiful moments in this film. Like I'm thinking about when she's outside the diner in the car and she's just sitting there, and it starts with this establishing shot that's like super zoomed in on the diner sign, and it zooms out and you see the lights and it's beautifully lit, and it's just like an incredibly painterly scene. Like, it looks really good. And I'm like, wow, I'm watching like a low budget horror movie right now, and it's a directorial debut and it looks great.
Yeah, it does.
It's got style for days.
Yes. And so it was an incredibly competently directed film that I liked. Where I find a little bit of disappointment is in the themes. Like I did not entirely get what they're trying to get across.
I have so much to say about this, and like I want to get into that. I also want to take it a little bit step by step and talk about this. Sure. Like the success of this movie cannot be underrated. This thing comes out, Parker Finn's directorial debut. It makes $200 million off of its budget in theaters. That doesn't account for anything that comes from streaming or anything like that. There's already been a Smile 2, which I purposely have not seen because I kind of want to experience it as for the first time when we inevitably talk about it here one day.
I will say I had to make a decision not to watch Smile 2 right after rewatching this movie because I didn't want that to influence my thoughts of this film.
And to your point, there is already a Smile 3 in production right now. So this is Paramount's new like cash cow horror franchise. This is going to be one of those like Paranormal Activity or Terrifier where they
or
throw
Saw
out like
of
5
the 2020s.
That's right. Throw out like 5 of them. Aaron, you said painterly earlier, and that immediately made me think like there's something going on. This is not my forte. Color theory in horror movies is its own topic that could demand its own podcast, but there is something that I kind of picked up on. I don't know if you guys picked up on this, and I could be tinfoil hatting it hard, but I purposely didn't look this up because I don't want to know if I'm right or not. But blue and red is a repeated color scheme through the movie. Obviously, like blue is in psychology often referenced as like a calm color. Red is like a violent color or like a sign of unrest. And I noticed like throughout the movie, it seems like a lot of the shots are filtered in blue. And gradually they become more pink, or gradually you'll see things like anytime the Smile monster is playing tricks, there's pink or red. There was something I picked up on that first, like they did the Insidious scene. They did it way fucking better, but they did the Insidious scene where the house's alarms go off, but there's like nothing there. The doors just open inexplicably. Like they did that. And right at the end of that scene, you hear the monster be like, "Are you sure nothing's inside, Rose?" And it's like our first hint that Rose might actually have something within her. And immediately we have like a quick cut to Rose in front of a cop car with the red and blue lights flashing across her face. Again, I might be way looking into this, but I immediately thought like, is this supposed to be... Is it Rose and the Smile monster fighting for who's controlling Rose's actual physical form at this point? Or do you think there's something to that, or am I crazy?
I think there's a lot to that. Because I do think there's part of the message of the story is about like combating depression and trauma.
The color grading was a huge part of it. So I don't know if I have watched the movie enough times to pick apart the specific symbolism of every color, but you could see it was a slow transition throughout the film where the colors get more dull, more washed out, more depressing. And that is a result of her starting to lose her mind. She goes to that mental space that's really dark. And it's a really artistic way to depict that. And it created a great mood. And then she's released from that when she burns the monster, when she beats it, you know, in quotes.
Yeah. That's
and then the second she goes back, all the gloves come off and they shift the color grading back to the way it was when things were dark. And they do it all in one shot so that you can see it happen. And it's like, oh shit, here we go. We're back to this dull, washed out reality where nothing is real.
Yep. It does the descent, right? Where like she gets out at the end of descent and then like everything's bright and shining. And then she like wakes up and she's still down in the cave. Like this movie just like does straight lift a lot of scenes from other horror movies. I just didn't particularly mind it, or at least it lifts like the ideas of them.
It does it well, you know, like it throws its own take on these scenes and like does them artistically. Like there's never a point where you're thinking you immediately like acknowledge that it's stolen from another movie. It's not till later that you kind of think about the similarities.
Yeah.
The movie's like enthralling with what it's doing.
There's a lot of It Follows DNA in here.
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah. Aaron, you said you haven't watched this movie enough times. Was this your virginal watch of this?
Yes, this is my first time seeing it, so my takes are fresh.
Sure.
I would be interested in seeing it again and seeing what I could take from it, because I do think it's an interesting movie, but I think it falls just short of being like a true great film.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, and one of the big reasons for that is I know, like, it was really trying, and I respect that, to say something interesting about trauma, to say something interesting about losing your mind, and it created a really terrifying, like, hellscape of, like, where you put yourself in those shoes. You're like, what if I was losing my mind and I didn't know what reality was and no one believed me? Like, it's horrifying.
Yeah.
Just to think that that could happen to you, and it does happen to people. It's a real thing. Obviously, demons are, depends who you ask, but as far as we know, not real, but people get schizophrenia, people see things, people go insane, and you can't trust your own mind. Like, that idea is horrifying.
I will say I've seen this movie now 4 times. I know, Chaz, this isn't your first watch either.
This is my second time seeing the film.
I'm never bored when I see this film.
I think it's entertaining as all hell. Like, it's a movie. I think Aaron said it right. Like, it knows what it's trying to do. And I think also, to Aaron's point, like, yeah, the most horrifying parts aren't the jump scares. Those are kind of more just there for fun.
They're for the genre definition.
From the film overall, because it kind of takes away from the actual, like, message and, like, artistic aspects of the film.
Yeah.
But I don't mind the jump scares. Like, they keep you, they kind of, like, remind you to be like, oh yeah, I'm paying attention to this every, like, 10 minutes or so.
They have to be there for the popcorn factor for the, like, this is, at the end of this day, it's a fucking Paramount release. It's got to make money, and it did, and it does that by doing what people want to see horror movies do.
Yeah, people have to stream it at sleepovers.
Yeah, that's right.
I think this is kind of like a great, I don't know, modern classic seems extreme, but it kind of is. This will be a kids that are in middle school today look back super fondly on when they're in their 30s. And they're like, no, Smile's what got me into horror.
There's a revival of horror since 2000. Like, I mean, people tell you the golden age of horror is like the 60s, 70s, 80s, when all those really iconic slasher films and The Exorcist and all Omen and all that shit came out. And then there's like a lot of disrespect on the 90s. We can talk about that later. But I think like 2000, you start having Saw, 28 Days Later, like really actually critical acclaimed horror movies that are critically acclaimed because their movies start again. And you get this jump start to the heart of the genre. And this movie is born out of that like resurgence in the genre. So is it a modern classic? I mean, like, I
saw someone call it a slumber party classic, which I think is great.
That's probably that's a better and more accurate description.
So I have a lot to say about this movie's message, but I would be curious first to hear what you guys got from it. Well, like, what is it trying to say about trauma?
Okay, so first things first, you said this movie is trying and you respect that. And I'm going to say, while I agree with that, trying is an understatement. This movie like wraps its message around a club and then like beats you over the head with its message. And obviously you have your high level message and then you're more like nuanced message. And that high level message is undeniably like hurt people, right? That's, if you don't deal with your shit, you will make someone else have to deal with it. And then that will perpetuate a cycle. That is like the high level message that this movie wears on its sleeve. And if you are not the kind of person that is like into interpreting text, if you didn't like English in high school and like figuring out what the book was really about and stuff like that, even if you're not that kind of person, you're going to watch this movie and you're going to know what it's about because it is not subtle.
Yeah. And I think you're right. I think that it wants to say that, but I think the messaging falls a little short because it had to have a horror movie ending. She decides to confront her trauma. She decides to deal with it. And then it ends like, it almost seems to be saying you can't escape your trauma.
I want to disagree with you here. I
disagree
because
I disagree as well.
She tries to confront it, but she specifically confronts it alone, not with the support of family and friends or people 100%. That are there to help her. And that's why she succumbs to it at the end.
She doesn't succumb to it until she has one person in her life who really gives a shit about her. It's not her sister. It's not the fiance who is A-Train, and I just honestly I can't see him as anything else other than A-Train.
Yeah,
Agreed.
It's great.
Agreed. It's very distracting. It's maybe the most distracting casting in the entire
He
film.
honestly just plays like A-Train if A-Train didn't have powers in this movie too. So
Yeah.
like just generic asshole. The fiance doesn't give a shit. The therapist doesn't give a shit. She's very like condescending. I'll talk about her in a minute too. She's a very interesting character.
Yeah.
But she's very condescending, keeps Rose at arm's length. Obviously, her mother didn't care. I already said the rest of the family doesn't care. She has one person that gives a shit about her. No, she has two. The guy from House.
Doctor?
The doctor.
Cal Penn.
He cares about her, but she pushes him away the whole movie. She actually lets the ex in for a while, and she dies like 0.3 seconds after deciding she will not accept his emotional support. Like, that's when she dies. And even worse, she fucking kills him too, presumably. I don't know if he's like what Smile 2 is about or not. I kind of hope it's not.
I can give some slight spoilers as to that. I don't know what happens exactly, but I can confirm he is in Smile 2.
Okay. I pushed back a little bit about what you were saying, Aaron, that like the message, actually, I watched this movie with my sister about a year ago, and she had the same criticism that like it ultimately says you can't make it out on the other side of it. And I already made kind of one rebuttal to that. I would also maybe say that the message is like, sometimes you just try really hard and it doesn't work out. Like, maybe that's like a terrible message, but there are people who do everything in their fucking power to face their demons, and it just doesn't work. I mean,
that might be true. That might have been what they were going for. I just don't find that compelling.
That's fair. What I do find compelling, though, is this question right here, okay? So Rose has this thing happen to her. The smile monster thing is passed on to her. She starts getting paranormal shit happening to her. And I do think it's cool that this is a side point. I don't want to go down this rabbit hole right now, but it is very refreshing that this is unabashedly a paranormal thing, in my opinion. Like, they don't do is it real? Is it all in her head? Like, I don't think there's any doubt that this is really happening, and I think that's the right choice. But back on my main point, I guess my question is, how much is this Rose's fault? Yes, she experienced a traumatic event. That was also arguably her fault because she denied orders. And if she had just gone home and not seen that patient, it wouldn't be happening to her. I don't necessarily want to say that that's her fault, though. She was trying to be good.
She's trying to help people.
Further back from that, she also refuses to help her mom.
For sure. There's a question there. But I want to say, like, I don't like passing fault onto a child. You could say like it happened because of that, but I don't want to like condemn the child and say like she doomed her adult self by not helping her mom.
No, I don't think it's that, but I think it's like just setting up this idea of her like not trying to find the help that she actually needs. And instead of addressing the problem, she does have this history of just ignoring it or trying to push it down.
Well, she specifically goes to the doctor, and the doctor says, "Are you sure this isn't your childhood rearing up again and you need to take care of this?" And she does two things. The first thing she says is she literally says, "I don't feel like relitigating that part of my life again right now." And then she asks for drugs. And that right there, I am very curious. Again, I hope this comes up in Smile 2 or Smile 3 or 4 or however many fucking ones they make. But I am really interested in the question, if she had taken the doctor's advice, can the smile monster be beaten that way? No one has tried. We know no one has tried to do that. Everyone who has dealt with the smile monster has very specifically refused to acknowledge any sort of like medical intervention. We see Laura being dragged in against her will. I mean, it was too late for her at that point, but
could you starve it?
Yeah, could you starve it? What if Rose just said like, damn, this might be my childhood. That one's on me. Let's talk about this. And dealt with it, following her psychiatrist's advice, letting her loved ones help her through it, being, I don't know, just putting in the work.
Addressing the issue.
Yeah.
Facing it.
I don't want to sound too callous. Like, I personally don't really suffer from any sort of like what I would consider meaningful, debilitating trauma. But I assume that putting in the work is something that you have to do in order to climb out of that hole. And my question is yes, this is a paranormal thing, but it feeds on that. And if she had just done the program, would she have lived? Like, is that a viable way out of this. And I'm curious what you guys think. Like, is that even something that could happen? Or do you think in true horror movie fashion, there's like a predestined, once you get it, you either pass it on by killing someone or you die? Do you think you can claw your way out?
I think because it's a horror movie, it's predestined. Because if you can just do the work, it kind of removes the entire horror aspect of the movie. So, I mean, it's the problem with it just kind of being a film, unless you want to have the potential for a happy ending.
Yeah, I don't know that I agree.
I think it being a horror movie kind of subtracts from it in that way, where it has to fit the genre conventions, and as a result, it's not able to have a more interesting ending and a more interesting exploration of these themes.
Well, I think that also might just be a sequel problem of like, if you can't solve the issue if you're planning on multiple films, and that might even be like a note from Paramount to be like, hey, make it sad so like we can do a sequel because we think this is going to be good.
I also want to look at it from other perspectives as well, though. Like, you have the perspective of, okay, when you're traumatized and you don't deal with your shit, you hurt people. And I get that. And you traumatize other people, it becomes a cycle.
Mm-hmm.
If you look at it from the perspective of the people trying to help her, everyone who decided, okay, that's too much for me, I'm not going to deal with this, they're all fine. The one guy who tried to push through and be there for her is fucked. And to me, it almost feels like it's saying, don't get close to traumatized people. There's nothing you can do for them.
Yeah, that is like an unfortunate side message of the movie. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I don't think that's
protect
an
yourself. Don't try to help people.
Film.
I mean, she tries to help. Well, maybe not, but it does come across. I mean, she tries to help this patient at the beginning, and that's what gets her fucked up too. And it's like, it keeps on being hammered over and over again that if you try to help traumatized people, you'll just get traumatized too. And I'm not saying that was intentional, but it is something that came across to me.
That's a good
kind
point.
of put a bad taste in my mouth.
I think that the movie maybe they don't intentionally try to get out of it, but there's something, at least, I'm not going to call it redeeming either, but there does seem to be this theme that you have to be predisposed. Like the smile monster, once it takes over you completely and you're going to commit suicide or sewer slide, edit that how you will, it seems to make a conscious decision of who it's going to affect. Like, it seems to be able to read you and see if you're a candidate for transfer. We know it seeks people out because we see that one guy walk up. It was like he'd been walking blocks and he arrived at this gas station. As soon as he got there, saw the woman, found a weapon, offed himself. But he didn't go to the first person he met, I have to imagine. It looked like he had been like on a journey until the monster found something. I have to assume that Laura kind of lucked out by being taken to a place that literally turns trauma into big business. She kind of lucked out and had someone right there, but I'm assuming they didn't elaborate on it, but I have to assume that the cop who was her ex also, has something that makes him a candidate for transfer, because it brings that stuff up, right?
Make the argument. Maybe that kind of goes against Aaron's thing about like caring for people just gets you fucked over too. Him walking up to a random stranger at the gas station means it didn't matter if you were caring or not. The traumatic moment's what matters.
Fair enough.
I just don't think that there's enough clarity of message for it to hit home and be some 5 out of 5 for me.
I'd agree with that. Like it's
not a 5 out of 5.
It's a first time director, what I do appreciate is it's trying to have that message. Because if it didn't, it'd just be another like mid to like
it's better
low
for
tier, just average horror film. The fact that it tried to have this message, and I think executed it fairly well for the most part, really speaks to just the quality of the like script, the filmography, the cinematography, like everything.
Yeah,
special effects were very good too. I think there was a lot of practical mixed in there as well.
For the most part,
yeah,
I would detract.
It was pretty good.
That CGI dead cat was pretty bad in my opinion. That's just
I guess I wasn't looking closely enough. Were they trying to protect the child actor? Is that the idea?
Well, I don't think they would have given him a real dead cat, but.
No, but it still might be traumatic to have a good fake.
I don't think there's a shot with him like in the box.
No, he picks it up. No, he picks up the cat. He picks up the cat. And
Oh,
holds
he
it up
does
to
pick up the
himself.
cat?
Yeah, he
Yeah.
does. He picks up the cat and
Yeah,
looks right at it.
And the cat.
Sorry, I watched
Look,
this
in-
a while ago.
In general, the dead cat scene is something like if I could delete 2 scenes from the movie, I would delete the dead cat scene. I find like Rose's and everybody else's acting there to be a little.
In the first half of the movie, I find a lot of the performances to be fairly unbelievable.
Okay, that's what I'm getting at.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, well, I think Rose's sister and even her husband they should get a reward for how much they overact, especially in that
Yes.
first dinner scene. It's
They are
not great.
honestly
cartoon characters.
hilarious, like how over the top they are.
I was rolling my eyes a little bit.
Yeah,
It's bad, but I mean, I guess like that's part of the film, like really hammering the message in.
It's
I think-
immediately like trying to put a like it's like, guys, did you see there's a wedge between the sisters? They're not really close anymore. Can you tell?
Between that and the cop in the first interview is like fucking nuts. It's
Sounds
just
fucking
like,
nuts to me.
Oh, those 2 cops talking in the room. Oh my God. That was pretty dumb.
It's
honestly.
pretty bad, especially considering how the one cop does go on to give an overall good performance, but like that scene does him no justice whatsoever.
Yeah, it's the
for his-
dialogue. The writing was hammering you over the head with mental health is not serious. People don't take this seriously. No one's taking her seriously. I'm just like, I get it.
Oh, yeah,
I mean,
even-
you could make it
even-
more. You could depict it more realistically.
Even the title sequence, like where all of a sudden it does like the psycho wah, 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 and like a smile flashes on the screen, like the literal fucking title splashes on the screen. It was just like you will watch, you will see. Do not close your eyes. I don't know. It was kind of cool, but it's over the top.
It was good. I thought it really could have been something special, and to me, it was just pretty good.
Yeah. The opening scene where Laura slits her throat with the glass, there's a cool, like a juxtaposition or a reversal of that. The very first death in the movie where it's passed from Laura to Rose, you see the camera just refuses to stop looking at her while she slits her throat with this glass. And we see it up until she literally bleeds out and falls over. There is like no break from that whatsoever. It's a very unrelenting, unyielding shot of Laura smiling, and we almost see the entity kind of leave Laura. I mean, it's invisible, but you can kind of infer when she falls over, it leaves Laura. And at that point in time, that is where it like quite literally gets its hooks into Rose. And then the very final shot of the movie is the exact reverse. While Rose is killing herself, you don't see it. It was completely on Joel. We see a close up of his face and an unrelenting, unyielding look at the trauma as he is accepting the transfer. And I thought that was pretty cool. The movie, again, it doesn't fully commit to that because it does do this little like quick cut of showing like her burning in the reflection of his pupil. But still, I did think it was just, the director had a cool idea there. I'm assuming that was his idea there. The reversals.
It comes across as like a director vision versus studio notes. Like the director definitely had clear vision and like what he wanted to do, but then has to incorporate probably some more of the commercial tropes to like sell the movie, and that kind of is what undercuts, I think, the overall message.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Also, I have to say, I wrote down in my notes, like, okay, the fiance may be an asshole, but I too would leave my fiance if she told me she was being haunted by ghosts. Maybe
that's part of what I'm saying, dude. That's part of what I'm saying. Is like he didn't act that unreasonably. Like he was a little bit of an insensitive dick, but like it's not his job. Like
you know who lived? A-Train. That's what I'm taking away from this movie.
And the monster didn't pick him because he would just outrun it.
Yeah. Oh God. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about this movie analytically before we go into the meat?
The last thing I think that just should be mentioned is that the whole smile thing is just stolen from another horror film called Truth or Dare. I don't know if either of you have seen it. I
haven't.
Unfortunately have.
Oh,
maybe unfortunately is a bit strong. It's not like horrible. It does what it's going to do. But to me, it's like, it's a great juxtaposition of like commercial horror film with absolutely no message. But
okay.
I might suggest it for this podcast later on, because what I think if you do watch it and compare the two, you can see that Smile does lift kind of a lot of ideas from this very mid to low tier horror film. Specifically the Smile.
Insidious has multiple scenes where suddenly people are smiling and they're like smiling too much. I wish I had like a bit of more of a like an ethology background or like a behavioral science, but there is something with facial recognition and how expression is like a spectrum, and the more that you smile, the less that it actually conveys the message of a smile. And the inverse is true as well. Like if you want to say that you're not really sad, you over frown, right? And like when you over frown, people know that you're like joking, or when you put on a big smile, people know that that's fake. And there's something interesting there about the psychology of being unnerved by somebody who's smiling too much. Smiles are creepy, man, if they're done the right / wrong way.
Well,
a smile that doesn't reach the eyes, that's where it's creepy.
There's a cool shot where she finds the therapist in her house and they talk for a minute, and then the therapist calls her on the phone and she's like, oh fuck, obviously the therapist before me on the couch is the monster. And it looks at her and it just goes, almost time, Rose, and it like starts smiling. That smile was legitimately unnerving.
It's one of my favorite sequences of the movie. Between that and then like the close up with the smile and like just the drool, which is like kind of a callback to Alien 3.
Yeah, that's right. No, that is it is almost like, speaking of lifting, that is almost shot for shot like the Alien against Ripley.
But yeah, no, that's one of my favorite scenes of the whole movie, because it is just legitimately creepy and disturbing, and also speaks to like maybe like this distrust you might even have with authority figures who are trying to help you when you're having that kind of like mental break.
It's also one of the few, like, this movie does like 3 or 4 times in the movie, it does the whole like, it's someone approaching you, haha, JK, it's the smile monster. The whole time it does it like 4 times, and that's one of the ones that I thought was more subtle. Obviously the very first one with the security company calling and it's actually the smile monster, like that one was pretty cool. The worst one is telegraphed a mile of the way, is when you see the sister come walking towards the car after Rose goes to her house to apologize for the dead cat fiasco. That one's telegraphed a mile away.
I mean, that's the trailer shot. Like, that's the only reason it's in the movie. It's just made to be like, hey, this is going to get people in seats. Like,
it's cool, though. I actually thought that scene was really fucking cool.
The practical effects are
It's
cool.
a great effect.
It's freaky looking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I liked the monster with like the different layers of smiles too. It was only in the shot for like 10 seconds, less than that, but it was just cool. It was cool looking.
Yeah,
it's creepy
nice.
as hell.
I think it was practical. It might not have been practical, but
mixture of practical and CGI probably. But like it had like a wetness to it that makes it feel real.
Yeah,
it felt like something out of an 80s horror film.
Yeah,
where
like it's the thing
they like crafted it with
reimagined.
Love. I will say I think this movie was diminished for me a little bit because I just watched Bring Her Back, which shares a ton of similar themes.
Oh, don't spoil it. I haven't gone yet.
Oh, man. I gotta see that too.
I'm just going to say I liked Bring Her Back a lot more. I think it was a more successful version of this movie and a much more original version of this. So I think that's part of why I felt that way.
I will say, having not seen that movie, but having seen Talk to Me, I think it's 2 people that are like write and direct the films.
Yeah, they're twin brothers.
They've got a much more clear vision. Like, they might just be better directors overall and might also just have more creative control.
Yeah, I think there's no doubt. I mean, those guys are incredible.
Like, yeah, they've got a bright future ahead of them.
I'm excited for you guys to see that movie. I want to see what you guys think.
You know what else has a bright future?
It's
our esteemed list. Very good, Chaz. Very good. It has a bright future ahead of it because today it's going to grow by 1 movie. Now,
we're going to have a top 10 films of all time.
We are.
Wow.
An infallible list, we should say, because Aaron, Chaz, and I are, above all else, infallible and without flaw in our judgment, which is the definition of infallible. And we made a list last week. If you haven't listened to that episode yet, shame on you.
We had an episode 0 last week where we got together and we made our initial 9 movies list. And now we have to decide where on that list we are going to slot in Smile. So you want to give them the list so far?
I'll do a rundown of the fun down, as it were. I'll start at the very bottom. Human Centipede, the first sequence, is the worst horror movie of all time.
And I think Smile should go right under it.
Oh, okay. Yeah. All right. Just really derailing me there, I guess.
Yeah.
Anyway, Human Centipede at the very bottom. Fun. It was fun, but frustrating. And right above it, at number 8, is Bird Box. Number 7, the only movie that I know of where robots kill teenagers in a shopping mall is Chopping Mall. That's number 7. The classic slasher Halloween by John Carpenter is surprisingly all the way down at number 6. If you're wondering what the hell's going on or thinking there's going to be like a bunch of really good movies above Halloween, spoiler alert for an episode that already came out, we didn't really like it that much. Coming in at number 5 is Saw. Number 4, Insidious. Number 3, Paranormal Activity. Number 2, A Quiet Place. And number 1 of all time is The Exorcist. Boys, at number 3, we have Paranormal Activity. I jumped to there because that is the most thematically similar movie to what we've got going on. We both
say Insidious and Paranormal Activity are like right there in terms of
similar, I was thinking the same part of the list for sure.
Yeah.
All 3 of those movies are essentially about the same thing. We got shit happening to children that makes shit worse when they're adults, right? I guess right off the bat, like, is this movie better than Paranormal Activity for you guys?
Yes.
Oh, that was fast. Aaron?
Yeah, I think it is.
Can you tell me why? Oh, Aaron's got a gap. He has an exasperated sigh.
Paranormal Activity had a smaller scope and was more successful at hitting it.
Ooh.
This movie was a little more ambitious while very derivative. And I don't know. There's such a similar spot for me.
I'd give props to ambition over small scope and hitting it. It's like I'd rather see them, and I'd rather rewatch the movie that reached for the moon and got kind of close than the movie that was like, let me just hit it out of the park and like I know I can do it. You know what I mean?
I think this movie is a lot more similar to Insidious in a lot of ways.
It maybe is, but I just think can we all agree it's better than Insidious?
No contest, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think it's just like a better version of it almost.
It is. I'd agree. Like it's a bunch of jump scares, but there's a message I think everyone can connect with, which is kind of what Insidious is truly lacking. And I'd also argue that's what Paranormal Activity is lacking. Paranormal Activity is just a horror film, but there's no message. There's no like deeper meaning. You're not gonna rewatch it and be like, actually, I learned a lot about myself from watching this.
But I think
not that I think Smile does that either, but it tries to do it more.
Yeah, okay, but the point of Paranormal Activity is that it's devoid of meaning. It is trying to make you believe. I'm not saying it's actually trying to make you believe this, but the scope of that movie is that it is controlled nihilism in a way. Like somebody found a tape and interpret it how you will. This is what happened. Like there is no meaning to Paranormal Activity because if there are demonic hauntings, do they have meaning? Do they have a message? Do they have themes? Do they have life lessons? No. People just get fucked up by demons, and that's what paranormal is. It's like the movie is an anti-message. It's oh shit, we found this on the ground. Check it out.
Pure.
It's pretty fucked up. It's pure. Smile is trying to tell you a message, and I think, like as we stated, it's a little bit dubiously successful at getting that message across, or maybe even more egregiously, it like won't shut the fuck up about what it's about. You know, like there's almost no discussion to be had, right? If we can all agree it's above Insidious, that's great. And I think we also all agree, I'm guessing, that this is not better than A Quiet Place.
No.
Yeah, I really tried to convince myself it was, and I just can't.
It's just not. Like, I actually like, for what it's worth, I like Smile better than A Quiet Place. I'm not a monster movie kind of guy. It's just not my subgenre, and paranormal hauntings is like my favorite subgenre of horror. So I like Smile better than a Quiet Place, but I'm not prepared
Quiet Place
to
does
say
a better
that
job executing the premise. It just does a better execution.
If we're talking personal feelings, I like Saw better than Insidious. I like Saw better than Smile.
Actually, you don't,
it's
because
not a
the
better
list
film.
is infallible. You've locked yourself in.
I mean, yeah. Here's the thing. I'd have also said Saw and Insidious are better than Paranormal Activity if we're going off personal opinion instead of infallible list.
But you didn't.
True.
but
I'm just saying,
we're not.
I'm not saying Saw is better. I'm saying I like Saw more. I enjoy watching Saw
We're on the
more.
same page, because while I like Saw a Smile better than a Quiet Place is a better movie, and it's undeniable. If it was David, I'd put Smile above Insidious, below Paranormal Activity. That's what I would do. And I to all the listeners out there who are screaming at me right now, just know that number one, I don't care, and number two, I'm not saying Paranormal Activity is actually like deserves to be in the top 3 of all movies, but I think it edges out Smile. Right.
I will say it doesn't, and it doesn't deserve to be in the top 3 movies. Smile is better than Paranormal Activity. I would rather rewatch Smile 100 times before watching Paranormal Activity again. There's just more to get out of it rewatching Smile than there is Paranormal Activity. It's better.
Vibes only. If you held up the two DVD cases and said, David, you must watch a movie tonight, I would grab Smile. That's 100% the vibes.
Aaron,
I agree with David's take. I like Paranormal Activity more.
That's crazy.
I really just didn't like Smile all that much. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like,
that's wild. I was about to reverse my take.
I found it kind of interesting.
Please don't. Please do. Please reverse your take, because I feel like
it's a great movie. Like, it's fun to talk about, but like, I just keep flashing back to that cheesy ass awful dinner scene, and I'm like, I can't like this better than Paranormal Activity.
Let me ask you this: like, if you're held up the 2 DVD cases, you're saying Paranormal Activity over Smile?
Yeah,
you'd rather sit down.
I don't really want to watch Smile again. I'm kind of interested in seeing Smile too, but I have like very little interest in watching Smile a second time.
I am going to double down. I think Paranormal Activity is a better project.
I couldn't disagree more. Like, that's wrong. Paranormal Activity is a copycat of other films.
This movie is the most derivative film of all time. It follows, but
let
again,
me finish my statement. Let me finish.
Okay, sorry.
Because I know we talked about several points that Smile lifted from other movies, but we also said it put an original take on that lift.
I didn't think it was
Paranormal
original.
Activity.
I thought maybe it was decently
not.
well executed. I would not call it original.
I agree. I don't think I said it was
not
original.
Well executed, but are you telling me Paranormal Activity is an original film? We said even in the episode when we ranked it as 3rd best that it is walking down the street that Blair Witch paved for it. You know, like,
yeah, but I enjoyed it way more than Smile.
Okay,
I can't understand that at all.
We're just gonna have to compromise here and vote this bad boy out. But hey, at least we're at the point we're above or below a movie. Imagine if it was like, though, this shit needs to go below Bird Box. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah, man.
Well, let's just put it at 10 because
let's put it at 10. I'd rather
Human
watch
Centipede was actually pretty good now that I've watched Spy.
On the criteria you listed, that is a fucking original movie. That is so
Human Centipede is, I'd also argue, not original. It's just copying from a lot of porn while getting rid of the parts that make it not releasable.
Okay.
I don't know that Human Centipede is actually original. It's just a guy with a poop fetish.
All right, fine. Well, as an entomologist, I too have a passion and affinity for centipedes, but I will agree that Smile is obviously much, much better. Aaron, above or below Paranormal Activity?
Below.
I made my stance
I'm sorry,
clear.
Chaz.
Chaz, above or below Paranormal Activity?
It's above.
I have said over and over that this is a vibes-based podcast, and if you put the 2 movies up side by side and said which one do you want, it would be Smile. If I'm the tiebreaker, I'm putting Smile above Paranormal Activity.
All right, I don't have like a problem with that.
It sounds like you have a massive problem and you need to calm down, actually.
I just disagree.
I had a massive problem with it being beneath it.
Honestly, when I'm looking at this list right here, the thing I'm feeling the most is that I like saw more than I thought I did last week when I'm comparing it to these movies next to it. But it's too late.
It is too late.
Much like when you go to hell, when you are cast into hell, one would say, it is indeed too late, and the hour is getting late. So, ladies and gentlemen, our new number 3, Smile by Parker Finn. That was fun, boys. I enjoyed it.
It was great.
Yeah,
it was great.
I
First real episode in the books.
First real episode in the books, and a fun film. I enjoyed it. Let's do this again next week, shall we? We shouldn't cancel the podcast just yet, should we?
No. In fact, we should all go and watch One Cut of the Dead.
Oh,
our very first zombie film.
Is that what we're doing next week? One Cut of the Dead?
Is.
Thank you guys for coming today, and we will see you next week with One Cut of the Dead. Have a great night.
Palm.
Goodbye.